The general public has a misnomer that there are sales tax or there's other funding sources out there that feed the transportation fund or pay for infrastructure. That is far from the truth. Property taxes do not pay for fuel or for the transportation system. We do have the ability to, or townships and counties yourselves, have the ability to do road millages or special assessments. That's how you participate locally. I've only known of a couple of counties that have provided any general fund to the road system, to your county road system, whichever it may be, whether it's a road commissioner or a road department. This is taking a look at a closer look at where the money comes from. If you look at the left column, you'll see the fuel tax. That's about $1.4 billion. And then there's also some diesel license fees that are also included in there, and that's about $6,024,000. You look at the right column, that is where the registration fees come in. The Treasury Department likes to call it a weight tax because prior to ad valorem is what you pay now for your passenger vehicles. It used to be a weight tax on all vehicles. But we figured out, or at least the state and the legislature figured out, we could generate a little bit more money if we went to the value of the vehicle versus the weight of the vehicle, which makes a whole lot of sense because the price of vehicles kept going up and up and up, and we needed more and more money to maintain and improve the infrastructure. Below that one on the right-hand side, there's miscellaneous revenue. That's generally interest earned by Treasury. Treasury loans our money from time to time to other state agencies for their needs, and then they pay us back. Then we've got below that the marijuana tax. If you recall, a couple of years ago, there was passed that a portion of the marijuana tax would be transferred over to the MTF. And then last but not least is the redirected income tax revenue. That transfer was part of the transportation package in 2015, where Governor Snyder and the legislature agreed to come up with $1.2 billion more for transportation purposes. Now remember that 1.24 billion was only a part of what the department, the counties, and the cities and villages really need. We were looking for more like $3 billion to really put a dent in that system. The other plus side of that 1.2 billion was that the 600 million in fuel tax that's going to be created would also be indexed to inflation. And to be honest with you, that is probably the only thing that's been keeping the transportation fund somewhat solvent from that standpoint. Over time, if you were involved as far as going back as far as I do, I remember when the fuel tax was up here and the registration fees was right here. And then in the early 2000s, they crisscrossed. And now the registration fee makes almost as much, if not more, than the fuel taxes. Why? Because of efficiencies. CAFE standards have really put a big dent in the fuel tax and how much we're going to collect. And then you've got electric vehicles. That's been another quiet drain on the transportation fund. Right now, we figured that there's about 1 to 1.5% of the Michigan fleet is electric vehicles. While they do pay, some of them do pay a stipend for that electric vehicle in their registration. If they drive over 13,000 miles, they pay nothing. While you and I with combustible engines pay as we go. We continue to pay as we go. So that's gotten to be a real problem, and we need to figure out how are we going to pay for the infrastructure. Do we need to change our concept and our thinking from a fuel tax to maybe a mileage-based user fee? Now, I know that scares a lot of people because you feel like the government's going to intrude on your personal warehouse or your driving habits. That's the least of what we're going to do. Other states are doing it, and they're doing it with a fob or an insert that goes into your vehicle, and all it downloads is the miles that you've driven. If there's other states that have done GPS so that they can track when they're in state and out of state, so they're not paying for those miles driving out of state. It's all simple, transparent, and these are third-party companies that are doing this right now under the pilot program within the other states.